Okay, so part 2 of this vlog. So my little brother got into quite a bit of trouble growing up, and at one point I actually saw a flash where he was running and he had someone behind him with a gun and he got shot. I told him and he literally did a 360 and changed everything he was doing. I do love my little brother, but I have nothing to do with him now because I have nothing to do with my family. They have betrayed our people. I want nothing to do with any piece of shite Abrahamic God. If someone was to follow it, go to the Middle East. That's where it belongs. It has no business on any land that's pagan. Australia is pagan. Europe is pagan. America is pagan. Everyone should just piss off to the Middle East if you want to follow some Abrahamic shitstone, because it doesn't belong here. Anyway, digressing. So, back to my path. Whew. My mother, being an elder of a church, I got to see quite a bit. And the funny thing is, she was a Satanist, whether she knew it or not. But she would practice what you would call black magic if you believed in the Abrahamic nonsense, which to me is just a lower form of magic. It's not true magic, so that's why I say there can't be good or bad magic. It's either real magic or it's a wannabe, and I classify black magic and Satanism, all that nonsense, as wannabe, because as a true witch, we do not believe in the devil. It's a fantasy construct. Believe in negative energies, yeah, sure, but that other stuff. And I do think Loki has something to do with that when you go into Norse mythology, which is my father's side. So my father's side actually did come from Norway on ships. Started the farming industry in Normandy. Also the dairy industry, and I'm a vegan, so something I try and correct now. So the Norse gods, the Eddas, are pretty true to me. However, I don't believe, again, just like in witchcraft, nearly most of the things written, because that's not my experience. I've seen these gods. I interact with them on a daily basis. I am spoken to through animals and nature, and this is not them. They don't drink. I mean, well, I've got to put it, mead and all that. It's nonsense. They are so honourable. But, what do you expect when you've got Christian monks interpreting things, or Muslims or Jews? So digressing. Anyway, so I had a lot of obstacles growing up in regards to my abilities. I also wouldn't just get visions of things that were going to just happen. Like literally I saw the neighbour's caravan catch fire because he smoked, and he died in the fire. I told him. I was ignored. The next day he died in that fire in Hackam West in South Australia, in Malmo Court. 12 Malmo Court. Funny how you remember those things. Exactly the way I saw it. The other thing as well, I would be approached by deities or energies or nature spirits. I had no idea who Odin was, or Odin to some. I only started reading about the Eddas and the Norse gods in my mid-30s. I'm in my 40s now. And I knew these deities well before I read anything about them. Odin has been there my whole life. I never had a physical father. My physical father was an asshole. Literally, and so was my mother. I was literally on my own. I had to live on my own at 13 in a foreign country and do everything myself, work for myself. I put myself through uni. I did 4 degrees, my master's in science, and trained as an athlete, and I even blocked all my energies for quite a while because I wanted to live in the supposed real world. But then something happened in 2012 and it changed my whole life because I was literally on crutches for nearly about a year and a half, and now I'm physically disabled. And it just all came flooding back, everything I had suppressed, all the gods. I rarely get a quiet night's sleep. I always have something being shown to me in a dream or a vision or what have you. So Odin, I have actually seen him physically. I have had him in my dreams showing me doorways, things in the past, things in the future, little things. And it always comes across as puzzles, And then the next day things start falling into place in real, reality, like something happens, someone says something, and everything starts to click. In other words, it just feels like they want you to think for yourself. So to me, they're very real. I had no idea about the north side of my heritage. That was also kept from me. It does get me pissed off sometimes, but it is what it is. I know the enemy because I had to grow up with the enemy, if you know what I mean. But going back to things that I found are quite awesome is there's this little series on green magic by Anne Mora, and traditionally with witchcraft, your family are witches, and they hand down the knowledge and books of shadows and journals and things like that. And I don't agree with everything in her books at all. Especially, when it starts getting to the Wicca side of things, it's like, oh my god, the harm none rule, as an example, is a load of crap. But the funniest thing is, just reading her book, it's like, oh wow, I already do that, and no one taught me. I already knew that's how to do it, or what that was called, or in what order to put that in. I also have past life memories, from as far back as you can remember. So I've actually done things a lot of my life based on past life memory before I was even shown. But I would recommend this book to anyone who's curious. Is the Green Magic or Green Witchcraft series by Anne Mora. Take out of it what works for you and correct what you think is wrong. But I do feel the more of us that work with nature, with magic, which is life itself, without the false gods based on Abrahamic nonsense, the better we are going to be able to free ourselves from the control that the Abrahamic oppressors have on us and how they are prostituting our lands for shekels. But yeah, so that's just a little bit about me. There's a whole lot more. Right here at the moment, what you can see is a fireplace closed off because it's illegal in Australia to have open fire in some areas. And I've just got my candles and that going. So I hope that little bit of insight into me helps a little bit. A little bit all over the place. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, and so I've lived a lot and seen a lot. More than most people. I've had no shelter from anything. And I'm only alive because of my survival spirit and the gods that have been there with me the whole time. Including Freya, Bridie or Brigid, Morgan, and